Hi, I'm Bridgette and I'm back. We're at it again, episode 2 of Gilmore Girls for your viewing pleasure. It's dirty work, but somebody has to do it. I volunteer as tribute. I actually loved making that last video and especially loved the comment section below. Feel free to chime in. But the discourse that we've got going on, I'm sorry, this YouTube space is my kind of people. I did, however, miss doing nostalgic teen dramas from the 90s and beyond. So I'm thinking I might do videos on a Wednesday as well, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Anyway, let's get into it. The episode literally opens with feet. I'm not joking, I almost turned it off. I do not with feet. Not everybody needs to see that. Some people pay to see that. I didn't want to see that for free or paid. Anyway, Lorelai is painting Rory's toes in preparation for private school. Okay. In the middle of all of this, Elaine, her friend, comes running over to their house with a CD of like AC/DC and some other, I don't know, inconspicuous rock band. But I guess that establishes that she's into rock. And you know what? I don't hate that. That doesn't feel very stereotypes. I'm sure I'm going to eat my words. But for now, that's kind of cool. Lorelai's also into the music and Rory's not because she's... So Rory is late for her first day at Chilton and she physically pushes her mum out of her bed. To be fair, Lorelai has overslept, but still that level of disrespect could never happen in an African household, let me just tell you. In amongst this, Lorelai realises that she has no clean clothes. I'm sorry, what? How can you not have a single item of clean clothing to wear? A t-shirt, a pair of trousers, a dress, not one item. This is where I realised Lorelai is an absolute liar. There are plenty of things in there. What kind of laundry abomination is this? You got a big old house, you don't have a washing machine. Anyway, she ends up finding an outfit and... Yep, Daisy Dukes, a pink crop top and cowboy boots. So you're telling me you don't have clean shoes either? No flats, no pumps, no trainers, sneakers, if you will. You're actually trying it, Lorelai. You're trying it. Anyway, they eventually get on the road in Lorelai's amazing Jeep. I'm very, very jealous of her car. I cannot tell a lie. And they pull up to something that resembles something out of a gothic horror. I'm talking gargoyles, weird statues. It's giving colonial gothic horror realness. So even though Rory knows that her mum looks a hot mess, she is still insisting that the mum comes in and meets the headmaster. Disowned. You want this to come into the school and meet your headmaster. Anyway, as the camera's panning through, I'm seeing a lot of diversity and I'm thinking, okay, Gilmore Girls, it's giving diversity. The extras anyway. Let's see. We've got Lane already and we've got Michelle. So I'm hopeful. So a student's dad stops Lorelai and immediately falls in love with her. Look, Lorelai is cute, but this is too much. We see 3 girls who stare at Rory as she walks past in kind of a disgusted way. No, they will be back. Also, they're going to go into the headmaster's office and Lorelai makes it's an offhand comment about the secretary, but I didn't like it.
See? That's what happens when you go to bed with your makeup on.
I did not like it one bit. She is not a girl's gal. I see you.
See each other. We see each other.
So they get into the headmaster's office and Emily Gilmore is already there on her throne. I still love her, but it is a bit much. Lorelai is forced to take off her coat and obviously the hideous outfit is underneath. Again, Emily delivers a burn of a line.
Do you need a ride or is your horse parked outside?
In all honesty, if I turned up anywhere wearing that outfit, my mum would cuss me out at my big age and all. So Lorelai and Emily leave and Rory is left with the headmaster who's giving her like a bit of an intro to the school. And he actually references The View, which is kind of cool. He's a cool headmaster. And he lets her know that although her grades are great, at her previous school, she was a big fish in a small pond, but now she's going to be a small pond in... No, now she's going to be a small fish in a big pond. And Rory's not really here for it, but he's just trying to let her know that she might find herself a little bit behind. So the girls I mentioned earlier who were looking at Rory in a kind of a disgusted way, they steal her academic folder and start rifling through it. And it turns out that the ringleader is called Paris and she is threatened by Rory for some reason. And let me just say, her scowl, her demeanour and her immediate hatred of Rory makes me instantly fall in love with her. Hammer on. Sold. The 2 sidekick girls, they seem unbothered. The one with the short blonde hair is giving me Regina George energy, and it actually does give me Mean Girls vibe. Which came first, this or Mean Girls? Back in Stars Hollow, yup, that is the name of the town that Lorelai and Rory live in. And Miss Patty, who I mentioned in episode 1, is being,
Visualize, ladies. It's a Thanksgiving Day parade. You're standing on Fifth Avenue. There's 100 beautiful boys marching in place behind you. And there you are. You are out in front with your fabulous legs and your perfect tush. Your baton is on fire and the crowd goes nuts.
So we are trafficking children of an afternoon. Okay. Genuinely, it made me a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm sure she's being over dramatic and zealous, but you are one sentence away from a jail sentence, Miss Patty. Mind your business. Anyway, the whole town seems to know each other's business, which is literally my worst nightmare. So even though Lorelai is perfectly capable of raising a child by herself, running an inn independently, it's the little things. She can't do laundry and she staggers around like a drunk toddler, feeding into that "I'm just so chaotic, I'm such a chaotic woman" trope, which to be fair is not that bad. We are multifaceted after all. So back at school, we actually come to realise that Paris is super smart. Smug, but smart. Remind you of anyone? If everyone else can't keep up, that's on them in the class. She's like, some blonde guy walks into the classroom late, and isn't he the guy from One Tree Hill? I never watched One Tree Hill, but I just know that is the most One Tree Hill looking person if ever I did see one. As is tradition for the Gilmore Girls, he seems to take an immediate interest in Rory. I'm going to need this fly to go. Why are you in this? You're not in this. So Paris is obsessed with the idea of Rory going up for the school newspaper, and she's being a little bit of a dictator about it. Back at the inn, and Suki is having a fruit off with a guy called Jackson, and Lorelai walks in and demands that Suki tell her that she looked great in her suit. Now, she does look great in her suit, but again, it is further establishing that she's not a gal's girl. She's narcissistic. She's all about herself. She's giving me Rachel from Friends vibes. I don't know why. I've never actually watched Friends, but so correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the energy that I'm getting from Lorelai. Okay, Michelle is growing on me.
Once again, your faithful Pooch is here to say, please come back to the desk. Someone needs to talk with you.
It's not my mother, is it?
It's possible.
It's possible?
There's a resemblance.
So the blonde guy from Chilton is called Tristan, and he insists on calling Rory Mary. I didn't really get it. Rory needs to use people's notes in order for her to catch up in the class, and Tristan says that he can actually help her with that. He's clearly flirting with her. I'm sorry, Lorelai and Rory are cute, but really every single person fancies them? Really? So we're back at the inn, and there's an employee of Lorelai's, and he starts flirting with Lorelai as well and telling her that she's amazing, just as the Chilton dad turns up at the inn like a stalker. What is it with the men in the show and boundaries? Yes, I know Lorelai technically told him where she works, but that does not mean you have to just turn up unannounced. Pepper spray on site. Anyway, he asks her out, but Lorelai says no on account of Rory being new at the school and not wanting to cross those boundaries. Back at Chilton, and Rory's trying to get into her locker, but she's pulling it, and then she falls backwards into Paris, who's holding this giant moat, which is for a class project. Paris is fuming, rightly so. And when they get in the class, the teacher's like, where's the project? And Paris is like, I'm sorry, I didn't do it. And Rory's like, no, oh my God, it was my fault. I pushed her by accident, blah, blah, blah. And Paris is not here for it. She's not here for the charity. She's like, I did not ask you to save me. And I guess rivalry commences. So Lorelai heads to the diner to see Luke, and he's kind of grown on me. And I'll be honest, it's just because he's cute. She tells him for some reason about being asked out by the student's dad, and he seems jealous. And Lorelai seems to enjoy the fact that Luke is jealous. And the whole coffee trope continues. I'm not going to talk about it because it's so boring and meaningless and pointless. Like, why? Okay, you like coffee. On the way back home, we meet two new characters, Bridgette and I guess her mans. I don't know his name.
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
Who looks like a walking corpse. They are a very eccentric couple, and they're her next door neighbours. And Bridgette says there's some guys at her house, and Lorelai goes to investigate. And it turns out they are these installer guys, and they're installing DSL, the internet, which is wild because Emily, Lorelai's mum, has basically decided that they need the internet. I mean, if someone wants to pay for my internet, I'd be okay with that. Anyway, the guy who installs the DSL is called Mick, but when I looked him up to try and find a picture of him, and I put Mick from Gilmore Girls, it said his name was Kirk. And I went on a Reddit post, and the Reddit post said that they loved this character so much in this first episode that they decided to write him into the show, and now his name is Kirk. So there's some Gilmore Girls lore for you there. Good for him. So because Emily tried to install the internet into Lorelai's house, she is fuming and heads to the salon that she knows her mum's up to have a go at her. Now, I understand the frustration because it's like, I didn't ask you to do that, but the disrespect is a lot.
Look, there will be no cars, no parking spaces, and all the uniforms will be supplied by me, the mother. That's final. There will be no discussion.
If that was my mum, I could never. Lorelai goes to pick Rory up from school in a more appropriate outfit, and they end up having a debrief about their day. So Rory tells Lorelai about Tristan calling her Mary, and Lorelai's like, oh yeah, that's what they used to call people who gave off like Virgin Mary vibes. It basically means she's a goody-goody. It's kind of a lame burn, but okay. So Rory and Lorelai are walking through Stars Hollow, and Rory is still thinking about Paris. Paris at the moment is living rent-free in Rory's mind. And for a second, I start thinking, oh, bless her, she just wants to be liked, don't we all? But then she has to ruin it by being smug again and laughing at the fact that in the classroom she beat Paris to a stupid question. Lorelai asks Rory if she thinks Luke is cute, which is hella inappropriate, but go off. And Rory's like, I really don't want you to get with Luke because where else are we going to eat? If something happens and you break up, it's going to ruin my dining experience, which is fair. So they have this exchange, and then the whole episode ends with Luke coming out of his diner and looking on at the Gilmore Girls like a creepy uncle stroke lost puppy. I'm sick of these men. So there you have it. Another episode down of Gilmore Girls. I didn't hate this episode either. I thought it was quite fun. I quite like when they're at Chiltern. It's quite a nice insight into private school. I'm enjoying Paris so far. So now we move on to questions and predictions.
Question?
Will Rory fall for Tristan's lack of charm? Will Rory and Paris become friends and take over the world Pinky and the Brain style?
Prediction?
Lorelai and Luke get together. So that's it. I hope you come back next week for another installment. I'm really enjoying this. Also, just to say, I understand that people love the Gilmore Girls. This is just a little bit of fun. I've never even finished a short story, let alone written however many seasons of a show. So I'm just being a hater. Let me be a hater. Let me live.
That's my opinion!
Clearly, if it was that bad, I wouldn't continue watching it. I see flaws. At the end of the day, it's nice to watch a show where the two leads are female. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch more of my videos, you can do so here. And yeah, I'll be back next week with more chaos. Okay, bye.
If you want me to review more Gilmore Girls, I'll do it for you. Subscribe.